5, 4, 3.
Here in Ontario,
and every single province,
they have a set of standards for every subject.
A collection of lessons that the teacher is required to teach by the end of the term.
But how these lessons are taught and the way the teachers ignite our interests are left up to us. The greatest lessons will be the ones that ignite your interest through technology and give you tools to take into the world.
The greatest lessons will be the ones where we interact with our peers, develop relationships with our teachers, and learn by doing, not by watching a screen.
Now, somewhere in Ontario, there's a child holding the book Ash's mom, and there's a child holding an iPad. But only one of these things have been banned at a school under our Ministry of Education.
And it's not the one where they have access to pornography, predators, and misinformation with a single touch. It's the one where the main character has same-sex parents.
Now, somewhere in Ontario, there is a child staring at flashcards, and there's a child using assistive technology.
But only one of these things will effectively aid the child to overcome their learning disabilities. And it's not the one that the teacher already has and knows how to use.
It's the one that requires training and change.
Because we must teach children the curriculum and develop their minds.
And it is all up to us how we are going to give each and every student the best education we can.
And somewhere in Ontario, there's a visually impaired child who is listening to their computer read them their favorite book. That child will never be able to see the pictures that come with the book, but now he can hear it whenever he wants.
And somewhere in Ontario, there are children sitting at computers playing math games for hours on end with strangers they have never met face to face. But those children will never get the social skills they could have had if they simply turned to their right and played the same game.
They bought us shiny technology with a promise of less prep, but in turn has blinded us from the fundamentals of being an educator.
The foundation of cooperating with your peers.
The foundation of showing respect to others.
The foundation of building leaders out of our youth. The foundation
of putting how your students learn best
first.
They left us to our old blackboards wrapped in the comfort of past lesson plans. But in turn, it's acted as blinders to the fundamentals of being an educator. The foundation
of cooperating with your peers.
The foundation of showing respect to others.
The foundation of building leaders out of our youth.
The foundation of putting how your students learn best first.
From clarinets, easels, and basketballs to mental health services and guidance programs, there are things missing from our schools. But we are taught that it is better to spend the money on technology than it is to spend on something that would teach our bodies and our minds.
Language skills and math games to assistive technology and diversified learning. These are things that can be easily accessible in our schools. But we are taught that it's easier to do what we have been doing rather than reaching out and trying something new.
Somewhere in Ontario, a Catholic school has a 1-to-1 technology ratio, while in the public school the high ratios are dealt in EAs and IEPs. While you ponder white privilege,
we ponder technology privilege.
Somewhere in Ontario, a teacher dismisses technology because it's too hard to manage. Now kids from Lower Town lose, because job applications are due, and this is the only access to technology they had.
Teachers are expected to keep the students safe. They give awards for best grades, but not learning life skills. Somewhere in Ontario, schools are promoting self-confidence, while they ask the students to whip out their devices and shout out who has what in class. Where the kids that have no devices are hiding away, and the ones with the new iPhone can't help but giggle with pride.
Somewhere in Ontario, schools are promoting self-confidence, while teachers rotate through a single computer lab and shout that every job worth having depends on technology, where the kids who have no skill pretend not to care, and the ones who have access can't help but snicker and yawn.
Somewhere in Ontario, the hate on the girl's wall dares her to take her own life. The taunts endured in the schoolyard now follow her home. With no escape from the hate and threats, helpless parents watch a daughter slip away.
Somewhere in Ontario, students cower locked down in the gym. Help is a text away, but their phones stay locked in a homeroom cupboard. With no update of what is happening, helpless parents stare at unanswered calls.
A student never fails.
Only you do.
Every school in Ontario.
The greatest lessons are left up to you.
But always remember, not every lesson learned comes from your lesson plan. Thank you.